A few months with the PS4 Pro review. Here to discuss with me is, of course, Zach Sharpers. Hey, man.
Hey, how you doing? It's got my pro and want to talk about it with you guys.
Yeah, I got it as well. So yeah, we both have the Pro now. And yeah, it's of course interesting. Why don't you like intro this topic for us?
Yeah, so I got the pro recently because the exclusives that I sort of want to experience are coming out soon, and I just got a 4K LG TV, full 10-bit display, beautiful HDR, and so the pro to me was something that is bridging the gap between PC gaming and console gaming, because I'll tell you, playing on a normal PS4 at 1440p on my normal monitor, it wasn't that fun. The graphics were washed out because it was being blown up, and it just wasn't upscaled as properly as it could have been. Where on my new TV with the Pro, now we have sort of semi Fox 4K going on. It's like 1600p, 1400 in some cases, blown up to the 2160p, and they use checkerboard rendering and a bunch of other different tactics to get it as close to what a sort of a native 4K image would look like without being a native 4K image. And so that appealed to me because, like I said, I just got a 4K TV and I wanted to experience what that would sort of look like. And if I ever want to play my Pro on my 1440p screen, I wanted to be able to have a better graphical experience on there as well. And as much as I haven't tried that out yet, I'm sure it probably works pretty well, because despite a little bit of issues with the Pro setting it up, it didn't detect HDR initially. I had to go through a couple steps with my my TV, which I didn't have to do with other apps, like for example Amazon Video. I watched Man in the High Castle 4K HDR, detected it immediately, but for some reason with the Pro it didn't. So I had to go in and turn on a setting, and then with the Pro I had to make sure it was fully updated, and then finally when I restarted it, it fixed it. So, and then with like HDR gaming mode, I had to download a manual firmware update from LG's website, and that way I have HDR gaming at the same input delay as normal gaming on it. So that definitely enhanced the experience as well. But the games that I've tried out so far, just to give you guys a sort of an overview, I tried out Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, which is 4K, at least upscaled to 4K. It doesn't have HDR though, which is surprising, because you said at one of the events that you went to it did, but maybe that was
Yeah.
a Fox HDR.
I don't know, man.
a lot of these TVs have what's called an HDR effect mode, but it's not actual HDR. It's just a sort of like a simulation of HDR on a non-HDR image, and it gets it somewhat close, but I mean it's not gonna look as accurate as it should. But
I was totally blown away by I switched on the expensive Sony TV at the event from HDR to HDR off. Switched it, and yeah, it totally looked different. So
yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, Jordan and I like spent probably about 30 minutes just arguing back and forth about this, trying to figure it all out, because he went to the event and saw it, and I was reading so many articles about it. But I tried that game, and also Gravity Rush 2, which sort of uses the same textures that would be at 1080p, but the edges and stuff are 4K, and it uses checkerboard rendering as well. So that's really nice. And then I also tried out Rocket League. I'm not sure what it does, but it looked clean. And yeah, I mean it's been fun and enjoyable, and that's really the main thing. And I've definitely went from a somewhat lackluster experience with the original PlayStation 4 to I'm very happy I bought this thing with the PlayStation 4 Pro. What about you, Jordan?
Yeah, and it's interesting to note I work on a 1080p screen, so I have my PS4 Pro on a 1080p screen, and I'm still like super happy about it. I do believe that of course, yeah, you do need 4K HDR, like a HDR10 screen, like an expensive screen to make it all work. But I think, for example, I played Final Fantasy 15 on the PS4 Pro, and you have the light mode. And that's like the normal 1080p resolution mode, but the frame rate is like 30 frames, like
locked in. Yeah,
locked in. Yeah, that's what I mean. So yeah, that was great, because I before I played that on the PS4, and sometimes during fights you had some sort of slow down, or you can also like change the light mode to the resolution mode, and then you go into 4K mode, and it all looks a little bit better, but you already see the difference. So that's like super interesting stuff. I played Dishonored 2, and while the 4K support is not, I don't see that because it doesn't really have other like frame rate upgrades or something like that. I still saw the colors were just better. Another game, Call of Duty, even on your 1080p screen, it really looks, the colors are just better, the lighting is a little bit better, and you do enjoy the games a little bit more. But what I also thought was interesting is that I of course bought the PS4 at launch, so in 2013. So you have a 3-year-old system, and my headset where you talk with your friends with was a little bit broken, and HDMI cable and a controller and stuff like that. Buying this new system, you kind of start over again in this generation, and I kind of like that because you still have all your games. The like porting from the PS4 to the PS4 Pro took like 10 hours. It's a lot, but then after that, it's like nothing happened. So you have like all your settings, all your saves, all your games. It's like insane. It's like super awesome.
And you traded you traded your regular PS4 in as well and got the
sold
Pro.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even like a full price for you. You just sort of traded one and spent like an extra $200, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I first like was kind of skeptical about the PS4 Pro, and I still like am, because I really think that Sony could have done way more with this system. Like, give us a faster UI, because that's still the same speed and it's still loading. And why is that? Because you have a way powerful system. But I really think that the support we get for the games, and even like older games, but also all the newer games have PS4 Pro support, and that's like very, very good to see. That first it was like this game, they had like a whole list, and now it's like it's weird that your game doesn't have PS4 Pro support, and some games have it even more than other games. You have Neo coming up. That game has a lot of different modes that you can try. It's like doing some PC stuff, but as a console like gamer, because you don't have to like you like do all sorts of different stuff. It's just a few modes you can choose from. So it's still very simplistic. Simplistic, but still pretty cool that you can like choose that stuff. And it's also, I had a 500 gig PS4, and I now have a 1 terabyte. So there's like more. It's like super nice to have this like new platform in my house that has more gigs. And of course I could have bought a new hard drive, but that would also be like $80 or something like that. And now I can spend that on this new console. So I'm super happy about it, and I think that this is just the beginning. I mean, I think the PS4 will still live for 3 years until we see the PS5. And right now, all the games that are created, even when I go to like events or something like that, we're still playing on a regular PS4. But I think that when games get like made right now, or are in development right now, we will also see them more moving towards an even better like PS4 Pro version. Well, of course they should not make the PS4 version like unplayable, and I don't think that they will do it, because that will be stupid. The PS4 Pro, they're like, I don't think there are even 1 million PS4 Pros out there in the wild. Well, of course the PS4 is like huge, a lot of people have them, so it would be stupid. But I think that this is just the beginning. Right now people are upgrading their PS4 games, well, maybe in a few years, and I think that Horizon will really be the start of that. We will see games that are really looking at this hardware and really looking at ways to improve it, because of course Horizon is also a game from a first party studio. So
you mentioned this briefly, but I'm curious, like with 1080p, you said that there's different enhancements, stuff like that. What about for games like Infinite Warfare? I believe that only really had a pro patch for like 4K. Did they end up adding something extra to that, or was it just 4K downsampled to 1080p? Like, are you able to still, I guess what I'm trying to say is, are you still able to choose the 4K setting and it just gets downsampled to the resolution that you're at? Like, was that something experienced?
Yeah, of course. Some games let you choose modes, not every game. So with Final Fantasy, I could choose these resolution mode even if I have a 1080p screen. So you still see a difference. But yeah, it's of course, yeah, on a 1080p screen, so it's not like to its fullest potential. But with games like Call of Duty and Dishonored 2, you still see improvements. The colors are just, it's sharper, like, so
So
that
it
that's
seems like they downsample it for you,
yeah,
basically.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And of course, games that yeah, The Last Guardian is a good example as well. That like sometimes runs at 23 frames per second in like huge things where the beast is doing crazy stuff and stuff like that. Well, it's locked 30 FPS on the PS4 Pro. So
Yeah.
yeah, you see that with a lot of games. And of course, it's not like this life-changing experience and you should run out to buy this PS4 right now. But I think it's a cool system to have if you really care about this stuff, and that Sony gives you the option to do this.
I also
And,
I also think that if you own a 4K TV, I think it is a big enough leap for you to get it. I mean,
Yeah.
or just even like a 1440p monitor, like if you're a PC gamer but you also have a PS4 lying around, I would get a PlayStation 4 Pro. Like I haven't tried it yet on my 1440p monitor, but from everything that you're saying in terms of how it reacts to like a 1080p screen, even if and it just sort of downsamples that 4K image and makes it look sharper, I think it's gonna look great at 1440p and everything. And I'm probably gonna try that out tonight. But what I'm curious is, what was the most like blown away you got with the system? Like what game was it, and what was just amazing about it? Because like for me, there was two instances that sort of made me really happy that I bought the thing. It was number one with Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. There was a certain set piece in the beginning of the game where I walked around a corner and saw a bunch of ships and stuff, sort of shooting things and, you know, attacking each other and just chaos going on. But the lighting and the detail and the background image was so nice that I felt like I was on my PC, because it looked beautiful. And I sat there looking and actually got shot because I was blown away by that. And then with Ratchet and Clank, that was, and I forgot to mention that was one that I played. That with HDR, I believe it's still at 1080p. So
Yeah.
it's not super sharp or anything. I mean, my TV upscales and has some different technology that makes it look a little bit better, but you could tell the difference. You know, obviously it doesn't look like a PS4 Pro game usually would, that is like 1600p blown up to 4K. It's 1080p up to 4K, so there's some issues there. But with HDR, man, oh my God, is that just a beautiful thing to look at. I mean, I was first like, okay, this looks all right at the beginning of the game. And then I got to the second area because my save files got wiped. So I was in the middle of the game, now I'm back at the beginning. It's kind of crappy, but it's whatever. But then I kept playing it and playing it and playing it and moving across the zones that are more colorful. And I'm like, this is incredible. Like HDR is definitely here. It's here to stay. That is confirmed in my mind. Even though I've experienced and dabbled with HDR before, playing that game just made me really, really love it. Like it was incredible.
I'm looking at a Ratchet and Clank like blog post, and it does says that it has a much higher resolution. Doesn't say anything about 4K though, but
Okay.
yeah, still interesting. But yeah, that game already looked amazing. I can imagine. Oh well, image captured on PlayStation 4 4K resolution requires a 4K display. So interesting. I will, yeah. So anyway, what I also really like is that I just looked at the upcoming games, and all the huge games that I want to play are were featured in the PlayStation 4 Pro presentation. Of course, we agree PlayStation Pro presentation was super bad.
It was
but
terrible, yeah.
For Honor is one of my most anticipated games this year. It's almost here, and that was that's supposed to be way better on the PS4 Pro, and the beta is starting, so I hope that it really looks better. But it's just cool to see it, and hopefully more games will really improve, because that's also something I don't really like, is that some games have a huge stuff like the different modes, and of course I understand that Sony isn't every game has to have these modes, because then a lot of developers will be like, okay, then we don't do it. So yeah, I hope that we will see like Rise of the Tomb Raider was one of the like PS4 Pro launch supported games that had like this better frame rate mode that wasn't locked at 30 anymore. Some better visuals and a 4K resolution mode, and you could choose. And I really want to see more of that. So hopefully games like Horizon will also feature that, and For Honor as well, because those are the games that I'm really looking forward to. And it's cool to experience them in a better way with the PS4 Pro.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, you've had yours for a while now. I just got mine. I'm still gonna dabble with it, and I'll update on Twitter sort of what I find, if there's any bad things that I find. So
At Zach
far,
Sharps.
yeah, at Zach Sharps. So far, I mean, besides the initial setup, which it was a quick fix, I personally don't mind. I play on PC. I'm computer illiterate. I know technology. It didn't bother me at all, but I can imagine someone who maybe just wants to plug and play, which is what consoles, claim that they are. They might plug it into a TV that has an issue with it, doesn't get detected, and they end up having to, Google stuff and get really frustrated and stuff like that. Even though it's a simple Google search, some people don't like Google searching at all to find fixes. So they still need to work out kinks in that regard. They need to figure out a way to make it a lot more intuitive and make sure that stuff doesn't pop up like that. It seems to have gotten better because I don't hear as many reports, but I ran into something, so I'm sure other people have as well. But in terms of pro patches, we are seeing a lot more of them. They seem to be meaningful as well, and they're even supporting older games, which is really, really good to see, especially if you bought a Pro at launch. So that's one of the things that I'm happy about with the Pro, and that's why I bought it when I did, is I saw the support there. I saw the I guess you could say the quality of the console there in terms of people's impressions, in terms of there wasn't any quality control issues, there wasn't really any major flaws with the console that I saw as an issue. So I picked it up, I was impressed, and yeah, I mean it's a console for people that want higher resolution in their games and have a higher resolution display. That's exactly what it's for. It's like I said in the past, and I still believe it today. It's a band-aid console. It corrected an issue that was a current issue in the market where people were buying 4K TVs and they're still playing these 1080p consoles, and now that this is out, it corrects that issue and people are enjoying better graphical fidelity because of it on a console that really wasn't that expensive once you traded in your old PS4 to begin with. And you can find great deals now, like on eBay. I bought my PlayStation 4 Pro with Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which I'm gonna pop in and try out tonight, and also Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. It was $400, free shipping, 3-day shipping, and yeah, it was great. And so I don't know, I'm impressed, and I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that you like it, because
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm a little bit skeptical for is he going to like it, because you of course are enjoying PC and you do a lot of these graphical enhancements to your PC games. So to see that you're like liking this type of hardware shows you that Sony was smart about this, because they said that this was for the PC gamers, that they see the PC as their biggest competitor, not the Xbox, because PC gamers are just used to better graphics, and to now give them that with this new console, it's cool, and it shows you that that you're happy. It shows us
It worked.
it worked. So that's like awesome. Okay, maybe when we have played Horizon or something like that, we can talk about our experience on the PlayStation 4 Pro. But I think for now, if you have any questions about the PS4 Pro, just let us know in the comments, and we will answer those questions. And even on a 1080p screen, I'm happy, but just know what you're getting into. It's not like it will totally change your experience. It's just cool to have, and not really that expensive if you sell your other PS4 and you get a better hard drive and some enhancements for the games you like. So just go in with that in mind. Don't have like this huge expectation, and I think you will like it. So that's my take. And Zach, thanks a lot for opening this topic and sharing your PS4 Pro impressions.
Certainly.
Yeah, we will talk about this maybe later. Thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe for way more gaming discussions. We got a lot of up on the channel. I even made a playlist, so you can check that out. Thanks a lot, Zach, again, and like the video if you did. We will speak to you next time. Goodbye.
Yeah, later, guys.